Okay, so today's story is something that will literally blow your minds. If you guys read the title of this video, yes, I don't know how this ended up happening, nor do I want to know. Well, to be honest, I do know because, well, I'm going to tell you the story. And today's story does get insane, so make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But anyways, let's get straight into this insane story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another, well, crazy story. So today's story is basically something that I need to tell you guys for a while now. To be honest, I was going to tell the story a long time back when I told the story about me doing it on the Ferris wheel. Yes, I did the Devil's Tango on the Ferris wheel, and I was ready to tell the next story the next day about how I did it on a roller coaster. But honestly, knowing how that video did, and a lot of people are confused on how in the world this ended up happening, well, this is when I tell you this story is actually nuts. Now, this story starts off back when I was in high school. You see, in high school, it was my grade 10 year, and it was towards the end of the year. And what a lot of schools like to do is they like to make some sort of event or some sort of fun, exciting moment so that the school is more quiet when the grade 12s have to take like their finals and tests to basically determine if they're going to what college and stuff. But that aside, I remember basically I was actually super excited to go to an amusement park. With going with basically all the grade 10s and basically everyone in my grade, all of us being in an amusement park would be, well, really dope. So I remember basically me and my friends were discussing how this whole trip was gonna be like when the teacher announced it originally. And I remember one of my friends ended up saying, dude, like, we should definitely like go with a girl. So like at the end of the year, like they'll like remember us for like that trip. You know what I mean? So like they'll talk about it like all summer with us. I don't really know what he was getting at, but basically one thing led to another. He just wanted to go to an amusement park with a chick. No, honestly, it's not a bad idea, and I don't blame him. And knowing this, like, honestly, I was kind of on board with it. Because let's be real here, guys. All guys want to hang out with girls. That's just the common sense. That's just the science of human nature. Unless you don't like girls, then you're swinging in a different ballpark. But you know what? That's not the point. Anyways, going on though, I remember basically I was talking to my friend, and he was basically getting everything planned. He was hitting up girls on Snapchat, trying to figure out who would go with who. But I remember I had different plans. I remember there was one girl in my school that was madly, well, kind of already into me. Now, I didn't like, 100% know if she was actually into me or not yet, to be honest. Because, I was like flirting with her here and there during the school year, but it never really determined if she liked me or not, nor did it determine if I liked her or not fully until like towards the end of the year when I was like, you know what? This girl has really nice cherries. I'm just going to hit her up. So I remember I ended up going on my phone on Snapchat, and I ended up DMing her saying, yo, I just wanted to mention, like, you're actually really cute. I literally told her that out of thin air. I don't know how she took it. I couldn't imagine her looking at her phone just thinking, huh, wow, this guy who DM'd me all throughout the school year is suddenly interested in me. Yeah, kind of awkward. But you know what? That's not the point, I guess. I don't know. The main thing was that I was basically trying to tell her that I'm interested in her and basically, hey, ride on a roller coaster with me. That's kind of like the main basis of what I was trying to get at here. So I remember basically when I ended up messaging her, I literally got a message back instantly saying, oh, like, thanks. Like, I thought you were cute too. Great, is what I ended up texting her back. And then afterwards, one thing led to another. We ended up messaging each other for the entire school day. And then I remember towards the end of the school day, me and her, we ended up actually meeting up and walking home together. I didn't have my car at this time because, well, I was in grade 10. So obviously I wouldn't have a car because I didn't get my car until grade 11. But you guys know what I mean. I basically ended up walking home with her, and we basically, started talking and stuff and being flirtatious and stuff. And it seemed like we were already dating. It sounds cringe, but I think everyone in high school understands, like, that feeling when it feels like you're already dating a chick, even though like nothing's really official. I don't know. It's like the go-to word for like when, like, for example, you're talking to a chick, but then a hotter chick comes along and you're like, oh, like, it's not official. I don't know. I've done that many times in my life. I think that's why my Devil's Tango body count's so high, but that's not the point. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember basically the next day, it was a Friday, and the school needed to be like basically deserted for the grade 12s to do the testing. So I remember when we got to the school, instantly there was a bus there that we all had to hop on. Every grade 10 and 9 and 11, I believe, were on those buses, and it was super cool seeing like all of us from one school collide into one bus. Well, not one bus, it was actually 3 different buses, but it was cool seeing all the grade 10s in our school on one bus. It's like seeing like your high school graduation or high school reunion all together in one, because like there's some people that you're friends with, some people you don't really care about, and some people that you haven't seen in a long time. It's actually kind of nuts. Have you guys like ever like seen a friend in the beginning of the school year but then never see them till the end of the school year? That's basically what it was for all of us. Anyways, I remember we ended up going there, and we ended up like, basically heading over to the amusement park. And when we got there, I remember we all got this cool like pass to determine what grade we're in, and basically all this stuff about, safety and what group to go to if you're ever in trouble, all that stuff that teachers try to put onto us, even though we never really listened to them. And I remember basically I ended up instantly hanging out with the chick that I was hanging out with the day before, and me and her were just walking around basically flirting and doing our thing. To be honest, I totally ended up dipping on my friend group, which sounds like a non-bro code thing to do, but I'm gonna be real here. Me and this girl were already like majorly talking to the point where, I'm not gonna lie, last night I got some some photos, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I was like, you know what? Like, this girl's actually really hot. W. So I remember me and her, we were walking around and we were just basically flirting around the amusement park. And then one thing led to another. We ended up going on a bunch of different rides. We went from rides on going to like, you know, the elevator to, you know, basic simple teacup rides and even bumper cars. But I think it ended up becoming that one part of the amusement park trip where me and her, we actually ended up walking around the amusement park holding hands. Literally everyone in the school thought we were basically a couple, or everyone that was in the amusement park thought we were a couple. But this is where things get really sus. I remember this girl, as she was walking around with me, she ended up telling me, Bubba, like, I'm really thirsty. So I ended up pulling out my water bottle out of my backpack that I usually carried around. But then afterwards, she ended up drinking the water, well, really awkwardly. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but basically, like, her tongue was like going around the rim of the water bottle. You guys know what I mean? Like, I don't really know how to explain it. It sounds sus. YouTube, don't demonetize this video. I'm just trying to explain this the best way possible. And then one thing led to another. I'm not gonna lie, she ended up walking around with me, but she was kind of like getting super handsy in the lineups. Like, she would literally like sometimes like stroke and grab my eggplant once in a while. It would get to the point where sometimes she would even like, you know, give me a kiss on the cheek. Like, she was really in the mood, okay? She wanted to do the devil's tango. And me being a dumb high schooler in grade 10, I'm not gonna lie, I get bricked up super easily. Like, no joke, it was like I was Professor X taking over the mind control of my eggplant. I just knew when to make it rise and when to make it fall. It was like my own little elevator. Actually, it wasn't so little, but that's not the point. Going on, I remember basically me and her, we decided to go on this ride that was a roller coaster. And when we were in the lineup, I remember this girl got really handsy with me, and I remember basically one thing led to another. I ended up grabbing her cherries, and you know, it became really awkward. I remember other people in the lineup were actually looking at us thinking, okay, like, yeah, I don't really want to go on this ride anymore, because if they're gonna be like all like that, that's kind of weird. Like, you know those people like in like high school that basically like make out in the hallway and stuff? That was basically us, but at the amusement park. Actually, that sounds really gross. Going on though, I remember basically one thing led to another. We ended up going on the ride, but we saw that a lot of people weren't going on the specific roller coaster because for some reason there was like problems with it. But honestly, I didn't really care. I had a hot chick beside me, so I ended up going on this roller coaster with her. And when we went on the ride, I remember partway through, out of nowhere, the ride ended up stopping. It ended up stopping on top of like the big drop that usually most roller coasters have to give you like an adrenaline rush. And I remember basically I'm looking down at this roller coaster thinking, oh man, okay. And I ended up laying back on my seat thinking, how long are we gonna be up here? I remember I look over at the girl and she's just beside me and she's just like, oh, like, what a view. Like, she's just adoring the view, thinking like this is some romantic scene from a movie. And I remember I look at her and I'm just like, you know, have my arm around her. I'm just chilling, you know, trying to play it cool, thinking, oh yeah, you know, totally cool. It's totally natural to, you know, be stuck on a roller coaster. You know, all roller coasters have this. And I remember this girl just looks at me and she just looks at the ground and she's like, oh, like, are we actually like stuck? I thought this was part of like the view. No, roller coasters don't stop for no reason. No, is what I ended up telling her. But then afterwards, I remember she decided to make this a thing of opportunity and got really close to me. She got close to me and started like basically like kind of like putting her hand on my thigh, and one thing led to another. Well, she was unbuckling my pants. And yeah, let's just say I ended up getting another ride called the Gluck Gluck 9000. I didn't know it was part of the ride, but it made sense. And me and her, we ended up basically doing the devil's tango up on the top of the roller coaster. I don't know how to explain this in the most weirdest way possible. And if anyone's asking, oh, like, what about the people behind you on the ride? Like, didn't they see everything? Well, no, because like I said earlier, a lot of people felt uncomfortable during the lineup and ended up leaving. So I think there was like other people on the ride, but they were like 4 or 5 seats away from us. And like, reminder, we were in the very front. So like, we had the really nice view. And since we were so high up, if people from below looked up, well, they wouldn't really be able to see anything other than a head just bobbling up and down. Yeah, that sounds really bad. I shouldn't say this story. What am I doing? Anyways, that's not the point. Going on though, I remember basically after like 20 minutes, I ended up, you know, doing the devil's creep and doing my thing. And then yeah, I remember there was a guy from down below yelling up above saying, all right guys, the ride's gonna start soon. So I remember when he yelled that, I ended up buckling up my pants as fast as I could, and one thing led to another. I ended up basically going down the roller coaster, getting extra wind going down to my eggplant because I forgot to zip up my zipper. I mean, I don't know, I guess everyone needs a good breeze. And I remember when I got off the roller coaster, this chick like ended up wiping her mouth and she just didn't say anything, and me and her were basically just like looking at each other thinking, wow, we really did that on a roller coaster. It was pretty awkward, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoyed it. But that was basically the story of how I did on a roller coaster. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, just fall for more embarrassing but crazy stories like this one. Peace out, guys.